Hey,
Okay.
hey, how you doing today, Lisa?
Hi, Vernon. I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm doing well, can't complain, can't complain.
That's good. How have you been feeling since our last talk?
Pretty well, everything's going good. Classes are great. Work is good too, everything is flowing pretty nicely in my life. So, everything's good. I can't complain.
Good. That's good to hear. That sounds very positive.
Yeah, yeah.
So, have you been thinking about everything? What's with your jobs? Did you?
Yeah, so I've recently gotten an email back from Accenture Consulting Firms about a position in their organizational consultant. And so
Oh,
I'm really looking forward to that, looking to hear back on how that goes and everything, and hopefully get a call back for an interview for it. So, things are looking good, things are looking good. So yeah, I'm pretty
great.
happy.
That's great. That's good news.
Yeah.
And so you feel good about them?
Yeah, so I feel good about it, like this is through a referral program, so hopefully, it'll have good outcomes to it. But as well, like I've also applied to another like 30 to 40 jobs as well, just in various like different sectors of the industry and brand marketing, digital marketing, data analysis, even education and ed tech consultant since I did my work in technology as well. So I'm looking at a few different things right now.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah,
You sound very optimistic. I'm happy to hear that.
yeah, yeah.
Were you able to check out a few events?
Not at the moment right now, just because it's been a short notice since our last meeting. So the events that I've been able to go to haven't been many as of right now.
Okay, okay. I just meant as in search. I didn't mean go to. I meant
Oh,
like look for an event or something for next week or something like that.
yeah, so there's an upcoming networking event happening within MIT, if I'm not mistaken, by their Google office. It's hosted by the Google office there. So I'm thinking about going to that one. But it's also currently a few days out, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to be working that day or not. So it's probably going to be a conflict. Hopefully it's not, but here's looking up.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. And how do you feel about this upcoming class that we're starting on Monday?
I'm really optimistic about it. I'm really enjoying the work that we're doing so far. The pre workshops are pretty interesting as well. So I'm really optimistic about
Good, good. That's great. That's good.
it.
And anything else that you want to share or that you've been feeling the last days? Anything you've been thinking about or?
Yeah, so as of right now, I've just been trying to work on like thinking about my PhD and getting involved in some of these philosophical journeys, maybe even submitting some of my work, and thinking about like just what topics of work I'm going to be doing in that facet.
Okay. Wow. What PhD are you considering doing? That sounds
PhD in philosophy. I did my undergrad work in biomedical ethics and constitutional law, so
okay.
uh, it was a pretty cool thing that I was interested in, and I'm trying to get more and more back into it. And so I'm considering a PhD, and so this is just like a consideration, not a set. I'm gonna go for it, but I'm looking at different schools, figuring out the application for it, getting some word of mouth about the processes. But as of right now, I'm trying to like figure out if I want to get published or not, and if I do want to get published, what like journals do I want to go to for like publication, what topics I want to write on. So like, I'm different looking at different like calls for essays to figure out what I want to do.
What direction would interest you most? Which topic?
So right now I'm reading a book called The Language of Thought by Freud, and it just examines the mental processes and how they relate to situational behavior, kind of like a philosophical psychology analysis type of thing. But then my real interest is in the metaphysics of time and how abstract time can have effect on like corporeal situations, and this may lead to like how time is relative based off of our cultural norms, and how that can be an aspect of like business relations and negotiations, and how that can affect deal making as well. So it's a very interesting topic to work on, and it's something that I'm thinking about as well.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Mhm.
And you said that you're thinking about if you want to get published, what would speak for or what would speak against getting published?
Well, the none would necessarily speak against being published outside of my own laziness and doing the actual time management processes to get things done. Um, because it's something that I'm passionate about. But being passionate about something and then actually doing it for work are two different things. Once something
Mhm.
feels like work to me, it stops being a passion of mine of doing, and so it
Mm.
actually feels like I'm putting in effort to doing it. While like if I'm just, on my computer and like just typing out my thoughts and my theories or something like that, that's more relaxing, and it's more of a comfort type of thing. So
Mhm.
it's just my fear that like if I do make this a more academic career based type of thing, will I start to see it as more work than as a passion.
I understand. I understand. You don't want to lose your passion about that. That makes sense. Has why do you think you might lose your passion about it though? What would
Uh,
make you think that
not
happens?
not necessarily lose my passion about it. I just don't want it to feel like necessary work. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It's we have a saying here in the States, don't major in something you love, because
Mm.
once you start to do what you love as work, then it actually becomes work and not something that you want to do.
That's very interesting. That's a good statement.
And so, that's just, it's not necessarily a problem. It's not something I'm really big or like, stressing out over or anything like that. But it's one of my concerns, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not to sound so facetious in like my talkings or anything, but it's just, a worry of mine.
I understand. Um, but of course, if you did something you loved, then you would be happy with what you're doing every day. I mean, that could also be an outcome, right?
Yeah.
Also, a possibility that you would actually really enjoy what you're doing. Um, so, why are you worried, or how does it feel when you think about that? Or put it this way, if you didn't have to make money with this, would you want to do it as a job, or could you
I
imagine?
mean, it's philosophy. I
Mhm.
I'm not gonna make money with it regardless. I'm not. This isn't something that I'm thinking about getting rich with. This is something for like my own academic pursuits and
Mhm.
my own like goals, personal goals.
Mhm.
This isn't something that like I'm not gonna be. I'm not thinking about being a billionaire philosopher. That's just not something that's going to happen. um,
You
I
never
have.
know. You never know.
I have other, ventures and like things that I'm working on in terms of that to support my income. This is more of a personal, like this is something for self-fulfillment and gratitude that I want to do type of thing.
Hmm. When is something work for you, and when is it personal fulfillment?
Uh I don't know. It feels like when it's a feeling and that when it becomes work. It's like when you get up in the morning and you're like, God, man, I really don't want to do this today. That's when I know something's become work for me.
Okay. What happens, would you say, when it goes from being pleasure to work? What changes?
I don't necessarily know. I think it's just necessarily I don't enjoy doing it anymore. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like if I have to get up and be like, I'm just not. And it's a difference between, having a hard day or, maybe struggling through a difficult moment in your career or time. But like actually like just getting up and being like, if I got fired today or if, my career ended today, I'll probably go and get an ice cream. Like I never want to feel like that. And so, that's when work, passion, differs from work. Is when you're just like, if I got fired today, it'd still be a good day. It'd still be a good day. I don't want it to happen like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And is that a fear of yours that
Nah, it's not a
you
fear of
your
mine at
work?
all. No, it's not a fear of mine at all. Yeah, it's just you asked about like what's my differing between
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
work and the actual passion. So that's
Yeah.
that's one reason.
So you're saying like as soon as you have to force it, it would not feel like a passion anymore.
Not necessarily that. Like, it's not like again, my biggest thing isn't necessarily that it's going to be a passion or not. It's just like a small worry or concern in the grander scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have no concerns really about it until unless like I'm a professor and that's like my only source of income. As it comes to this, then it may be a little concern for me, because then it actually be work, But as of right now, like I said, I have other ventures that I want to do, and so like this isn't something that I'm focusing in on income right now, and so because of a lot of the times that income is a factor in how I think about work, I'm not trying to do this for income. This is solely for my own
Mm-hmm.
personal goals.
So a factor when you think about work is when you are reliant on it for your income.
Not necessarily relying on it for income, but if I gotta factor in my time as dollar signs, then yeah, it becomes work. Like if I'm working with a client and like I'm charging you $100 an hour, and that's how I'm thinking about my time with you, then that is work. But if I'm working with, say, another philosopher writing a paper, I don't factor in, well, man, I'm losing about $20 an hour, $100 an hour, $80 an hour talking to this guy. Like you don't think about it that way, so it's not work.
So as soon as you're doing your passions, you don't think about money. You don't want to think about money when you're enjoying your passions, basically.
Nah, I ain't say that. Nah, if I can make money while doing the things I love, I
Mm-hmm.
I still love that too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that my passions can't provide income. It's just that when I have to think about what I'm doing in terms of how much money I'm making, that's when it becomes work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's good. I like that you're open to your passions being able to, provide income. I think that's very important to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, to not block yourself from that possibility.
Yeah, like it's not necessarily that I don't want it to provide income. It just doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like kids build lemonade stands not to get rich. They build it because they like selling lemonade.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so when would this PhD degree be happening if you do it?
Maybe in a few years. There's still some things that I want to do career-wise that I want to get straight and get
Mhm.
set up first before I think about my PhD. But because it is a PhD and a longer process and a bigger decision to make, I'm starting my decision-making journey a little bit early.
Is there anything now with this master degree that you're just about to finish that you need to take into account if you ever want to do a PhD in future?
Not necessarily. I'm doing philosophy, and so while like I went to Japan for a bit and did business ethics in Japan in Shahar Law, and so like I know how to like kind of translate or transition my skills into business, into philosophy, and philosophy into business, and even do like theoretical writings on it too. But it's not something. My master's is a professional degree for me. It's
Mhm.
something that I'm going to obtain like income with. My doctorate degree is something that I feel is going to be a more academic pursuit. That is more of my movement in the American academia. You know what I'm saying? In
Mhm.
publications and how like my work is going to be seen and critiqued by a cohort of peers. So that's more of a
Mhm.
personal thing. My master's is more of a career thing.
Okay, so these are more just future thoughts and plans to keep in your mind rather than something you want to act upon now.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Got it.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. I love that. Sounds very interesting. I'd love to hear more. Philosophy and business, super
Thank
interesting.
you, thank you, thank you.
I know there's some very interesting books on that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should check out Freud's Language of Thought. It's a really great book, and
Mm.
it's a little dense, but it's fun to read.
Hmm. Nice. Thanks. Well, I mean, we haven't really established any, actionable items that you might want to think about doing. Is there anything else that's on your mind right now about what you're currently doing that you?
Yeah. So like I was saying before, I'm thinking about figuring out which journals that I want to submit my work to, and
Mhm.
what topics I want to write on. And so I'm not sure about what I want to do on that, but
Mm.
it's something that
Oh,
I'm thinking about.
you already have work that you would like to submit.
Work that I have already, and then maybe even creating new essays or theories and stuff.
Mm. Do you know any journals that might be, fitting?
Yeah, the American Philosophical Association is one of the leading journals out there. And so, I'm looking at a couple of call for papers that they're doing. Though the topics don't necessarily interest me that much. They're very bland.
Mm. So the topics you wrote about, would they fit into that journal or?
I mean, I can alter them up and do some writing on them, think about them in a different perspective.
Mhm.
But it's not necessarily, like trying to spam out as many essays as I
Mm.
can to journals.
Yeah.
It's about finding the right journal that I want to submit to and publicize to,
Mm.
and the right work that I want to actually write on. It's not about like gun code getting publicized. It's a little bit more to it to that. I want to feel like my work is accepted. I want to feel like you know the journals that I'm getting accepted by, the journals that I'm being published in, are journals that I both respect and that are also respected in the community that I'm working in, or that I'm trying to pursue.
Hmm. And do you have a journal or several journals that you think your work might fit in well?
Yeah, so like I said, the American Philosophical Association is one of the journals that I'm looking at as of right now. Also, the Nihilist is a nihilistic, um, focused journal articles. Though nihilism is a bit bleak to say the least.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are just a few that I'm thinking about.
Hmm. Okay, cool. And have you actually sent them anything or?
No, not as of right now, just because with school going on, I haven't had time to actually do or work on many of my outside essays. While I have created a couple of outlines for a few that I'm thinking about writing on, actually putting pen to paper and like typing about, I haven't necessarily done. There's still a bunch of background research that I want to do on them. A couple of
Mhm.
people that I want to call up to just, make sure my theories are like seem legitimate and I'm just not a crazy man out here rambling to himself in his computer.
That makes sense. Good. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good to, be conscientious. That's very good. Um, do you have work right now that you feel that you would want to work on, or would you rather write something completely new?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm currently thinking about doing works in the metaphysics of times, as like it is seen as like an abstract entity.
Mhm,
It's a big topic to kind of grapple because there's a lot of theories that can both relate to it, go into it, and just totally alienate the concept of an abstract time. At time as an abstract entity of itself, it totally just disregards that too. So there's a bunch of, like I said, it's a lot of research that I got to do on this before I can like fully start putting pen into paper and typing on it. So as of right now, I've been doing like a little outline. I mean, doing some outlining and just doing
mhm,
picking up a lot of books on a topic that I can read and kind of like bounce my ideas off. And if it like sounds conceptually, true, or like I said, if it's just ramblings in my own head.
mhm. And you have some specific people in mind that you can ask about these ideas and theories?
Yeah, I got a couple of former professors that I worked with at my old undergraduate school who work in astrophysics and Einstein special relativity. So
Mhm,
like there are some great sources of information
mhm,
that I can touch on when it comes to how like time as an abstract concept can affect the world in a very physical way. So yeah.
mhm. And you're still in touch with these professors?
Yeah, yeah. I graduated like 2 years ago, so I'm still on the alumni boards and stuff, so it's
Oh,
pretty easy to get in contact with them.
that's great. That's great. And are you thinking of sending them what you have so far, or
Yeah, so like I said, I don't really I don't have yeah, so like I said, I don't necessarily have anything finished as of right now. They're just outlines, and I'm doing research on it. So
mm,
yeah, there's not necessarily much to send to them. Though I
mm,
did email a couple of them, just trying to get some questions answered on like how things work in terms of like different
mhm,
and in terms of different theories and like if what I'm thinking about is conceptually true and like reality. So I just want to make sure that the basis of everything that I'm actually thinking about holds like truth and like
mhm,
actual physics.
mhm. Okay. Okay. Right. Oh, okay. I mean, you could always just ask them for a coffee and just talk, right?
They're in Ohio,
Oh,
so
okay. Then maybe that's a bit far.
yeah, yeah, maybe during like one of my alumni visits, but yeah.
So, yeah, well, that's good. So you're reaching out to them. That's good. Are you gonna wait until your courses are over, or do you already want to do this in the coming days, over the weekend?
Yeah, like I'm just working by day as it goes along because, like I said, my
Mhm,
PhD is a few years out, so I'm not necessarily worried about the application process on that and the timeline for that.
mhm,
But the journal
mhm.
articles, I do kind of want to be published by the end of the year or
Oh, wow,
early
yeah, that's okay.
next year for my first publication to get the ball
Mhm,
rolling. So I
mhm.
kind of got to get the pedal to the metal when it comes to these type of things.
When
Just
would
because
you?
just because I'm not trying to publish a whole book, just like a
Mhm,
journal article. So,
mhm. When would you like your first article finished, for example, to send to one of your professors?
uh, to send to a professor, I don't know, maybe no, maybe in like October or something. To actually be published, I don't know, maybe the start of the next year. Hopefully, if I can get it like written, edited, and reviewed by the end of this year.
Mhm. But did I understand correctly that you would want to get in touch with your professors and ask them for feedback before you write the paper? So you'd first want to just give them your ideas, see what they say.
Yeah, I'm doing that currently right now. So I'm currently emailing professors, getting
Mhm.
feedbacks and ideas, asking questions on how things relate to like the actual physical world as compared to like my like philosophical thoughts on like
Mhm.
time as an entity. And so it's
Mhm.
um it's going well. Like I'm still in the processes of doing it. So
Mhm. Have you heard back from them? Have you gotten any feedback?
yeah, so one professor is really helping me along with a lot of my questions. And so what they relatively told me is that, it's an interesting theories that I'm throwing out there, and that there are actual instances within like Einstein special relativity that can back up like my thoughts and processes. And so like I'm just kind of like working with him because I'm not an astrophysicist, I'm a philosopher, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I need that additional hand or additional critique to like make sure that like I'm not just being like woe is me, there's no abstract entity, everything's good kind of philosopher, and actually having like grounded like factual information in the theories that I'm trying to conceptualize.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. And do you have like say a time where you'd want to have a rough draft done, or?
Yeah, probably in November.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Well, sounds exciting. I'd love to read it myself.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. But if that's it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. It's been great. So I hope to be able to talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be nice. I'd love to hear more.
all right, no
Good
problem.
luck. Good luck with your papers.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Feedback.
sorry guys, I really have to leave within 5 minutes
Sorry.
for another conference. But yeah, you guys talking a lot about your desired life or your it's really good, and the career and the publication and the PhD. Yeah, Lisa, it's so compassionate. You really show the real interest in the whole life of Vernon, and that's why you get yourself immersed or to put yourself into his shoes and trying to have a pleasant conversation. This is yeah. But talking about the coach, you starting to have a very clear signal. Starting, say, let's focus on something. At least
Mm.
after you talking about do you know any journeys or journals fitting into your screening process or something starting from here you have a real question asking and answer processes like do you have anything working on about the article, any specific persons you talk to, or still in touch with any professors kind of questions, and trying to screening down what's the next actions or movement
Mm.
no need to take. And
I kind of felt like I was forcing it a bit because I knew, okay, we need like a plan, but maybe that's actually forcing it too much. Maybe you don't always need to have some kind of action plan.
hey, but guys, we are talking about a coach. Coach,
Mm.
it's not about you or about your feeling. It's about to focus on something and to work on progress and have some things to check upon and to have yeah movement. I mean that's the key, right? We all of us know this. So yeah, let's put aside our own opinion. If you think it's just a free conversation, would be very pleasant. But if we are talking about coach, both of us, both parties need to have agree on something first.
Mhm.
Should be the coachee's expectation to improve. He should have very specific improve areas to ask for your help and to coach him have the change or taking new actions or kind of things. So it's common agreement,
Mhm.
my understanding. So you ask, I mean, a very good starting point is you ask this publications and articles, and you also ask, have you got any feedback? And you ask for, what's the process? Like Vernon is working on checking the ideas about the articles related topics or which area he would like to studying for the article writing kind of things. It's really on the right track
Mhm.
to the half of the conversation. But yeah, if you, it's my personal suggestion. If you really would take the videos, better to agree on something upfront, or you have some like take something small
Like a topic, a thing.
Professor always suggests us focus on the DNA, hot DNA. Very, very clear, and like time management, like efficiency, like the effective communication skills or listening skills, kind of things. Don't think it's stupid because we are practicing. So maybe next time you guys can think about what's the specific topic, or even it's a one individual tasks you would like to achieve. I really last time our conversation about your event planning, Vernon, or your wedding, we can stick, or about us, you talk about selecting the schools. It's also good. We need to divide the whole huge projects or the whole huge vision into different projects, into different stage, and into the focused areas, like 1 week, 1 day. And that's the whole coaching missions, I think. Yeah, maybe next time we can practice in this way. And yeah, congratulations, one more videos. So yeah, the half part of the conversation, but you are ran out of time because we cannot stay here for several hours.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Vernon, how did you feel?
It was good. I do feel like it kind of dragged on a bit. I was hoping that you were gonna like ask more focused questions to like narrow things down. I kind of agree. It's not necessarily about how you feel about the action plan. Like you do have to have an action plan until because we didn't even schedule like anything on a follow up. Like what are my next steps? Like what am I doing? It was kind of like more of a casual conversation. So, yeah. But yeah. But outside of that, everything's good.
Okay. Yeah. I felt the same. I felt like it was dragging on, but I also felt that you were you were in such a good place, like you were in a happy place, and I almost felt like me trying to push you onto some deadlines, or like I would be like taking you out of that place, kind of. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, nah, you're all
I didn't
good.
want to like pressure you unnecessarily, like it felt like you were just so mellow. It felt like almost like I
Yeah,
should
it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording right now.